What's up, mobile gamers? It's Dronzer Gigs, and this video is going to be really nice and relaxed and chill for you guys. We're literally just going to be playing Ono and giving my thoughts on him because if you guys don't know, I'm already rank 70 in the world, which, I mean, I think that's decent. It's kind of like, you know, it's not number one or anything like that, but I really do think that my opinions on him are pretty good. I kind of like him. I just think that there's a lot they could do and a lot they could change. So we're just going to be throwing some ranked matches. Honestly, we're gonna throw them. They don't even have a tank. Odd. We'll see how that goes because we have a healer and 2 damage dealers. So I'm literally just gonna stick with the Jabali. And one of the things I really like is I talk about this when I'm talking about healing is he can put his shield onto the friendly, right? I can put it on any of my teammates, right? And the best spot to use it is actually when Jabali's shield breaks. So his shield's gonna break here, boom, we put our shield on him. And then honestly, we just need to go ahead and do as much damage as we can. I did not get to the health pack in time. But we were just basically trying to avoid the Gatlin, and once they kill the Gatlin on our team, then we'll have a way easier time in this match. Now, obviously, he's slow. I think he has a lot going for him if he just had a little bit of like buffs in certain areas, because what you're gonna see in this game, right? The support is the shield, and then you have this right here. It kind of has a little bit of a knockback, but I don't think it's good enough, and it's really slow. You saw there that I was literally able to just sit there and let's see if we can't get the Gatlin. This isn't really my job though, so we're gonna jump back. Yeah, she kind of cornered us there, and that's kind of what I mean, is he doesn't really fit in any of the areas. Obviously it's a Gatlin, you know what I mean, so I don't expect to be like 1v1ing her or anything. And you see, like, you can't even get out because they're, oh, that's weird. I don't know how she actually got me there. I was well behind that wall, but you can see that they have a Gatlin and they're just sitting there with her, and that's how you win games in T3 for the most part. Kind of sucks. I do wish they would make some changes and maybe nerf her a little bit, but I think they should revert the nerf, or not the nerf, revert the buff, because it was a nerf to her mobility, right? Put the shield up, and we're literally just going to have to try and avoid her. And that's the worst part about this, is that we need to kill the Gatlin in order to do anything in this match, and it's going to be tough. So you can see we rush in, and then Neon just heals her enough that she doesn't even have to worry about it. Should have a flanker. There we go. The Jabali had to go and get her. That just shows you guys. I mean, we don't have a flanker, but he just doesn't do enough. Like, he doesn't do enough to flank, right? Which would be really nice, because I think he could have the potential to be a little bit of like a flanking, like where he does both roles flanking. We'll get her, try and get her out of the way. Oh, she's got her ultimate on. No worries. She's literally the last one. Oh, the Gatlin. I just keep forgetting about her. But Ono's really good in all situations, but then once you have anybody in that situation that does better, or on the enemy team that does better, you're screwed. You know what I mean? Because we can kind of flank, but the Gatlin doesn't have to worry about it because we don't have the mobility. And we can't really tank either because we don't have a big enough shield. So we're basically, besides this game, right, obviously, we're just sitting here feeding the whole team to the Gatlin because they're doing a great job protecting her. Most of the time, you'll see him, somebody will pick him, and then you will see somebody switch off of him because he just doesn't have what you need in any of these roles. So, like, we can do this damage here, but when you've got four people, the whole team is looking at that door when we come in, and that's, I don't really mind deranking to show you guys this, because that's honestly the state of the game. It's literally just who picks more tanks, And Ono doesn't really count. Look at this. He's glitching out in the end screen too. I think that he needs either a lot of little buffs or one big buff to kind of solidify his area, right? So what we'll talk about here, depending on how long it takes me to get into a match, is his abilities are kind of all-around abilities. The Enhanced Blade is nice because it goes through enemies, so you can damage multiple enemies. So that makes him a good damage dealer, right? But you might as well pick a Gloria if you're going to pick Ono, because he just doesn't give enough. You can do way more damage in such a small amount of time as Gloria or Hunter or Christina that he doesn't really work as a damage dealer, even though his passive is good and his actual like basic attack does some decent damage. So you kind of run the risk of, oh, if you pick him, you might as well pick a damage dealer, right? And you saw with the Gatlin, he doesn't have the mobility to flank, even though I would say he kind of works in both of those roles. So he has something for every single every single role, but he doesn't do any of them well. And it's not that he doesn't do enough because everybody's better, he just doesn't do them at all. You know what I mean? He has like a little bit of damage, he has a little bit of a support with his shield, right? But it doesn't last long enough, it doesn't have enough health, so you end up getting it, it actually ends up getting you killed more often than not because you'll use it and then they'll just break it and kill you, or you put it on a teammate and it times out and they don't get any damage dealt to them, or they just honestly they just break it. It's only like what, 4,000 I think, so it's not very much. And then that's the last role, right? So you got support, damage, and then you got tank, right? And he doesn't have a shield. He runs into the exact problem that Victor had before he got buffed, right? I still think Victor is kind of all right still. He's got definitely some areas that he's good in. We're gonna try to bait the Fade to rush. Come on, Fade, come on, rush me, Fade. Okay, hang on. We'll get the Diggy here. Did they kill him? Oh, they did, and I just didn't notice. Okay, I don't know where the Johnny is. He probably isn't even in there, I bet. It seems like every time I go after a Johnny, he's not in his little circle. That is one tip I do have for you guys. If you're gonna play Johnny, mix it up a little bit, you know what I mean? He's gonna rush. I don't know if we have the... Yeah, look, he just... I guess the Diggy got that kill, but... We're gonna try to get the Diggy. I don't know. See, this is the problem, is I can't really tank. You can see that I'm doing all right, but then the second they focus me, boom, I'm dead. And that's the problem that Victor had before, and that's the problem that Zero Kelvin has now. The only upside with Zero Kelvin is you're playing Zero Kelvin, you can, you know, you sit and you hold your snowball right in front of you here, and you're able to like use it as cover, and it has way more health than any of Ono's abilities, the shield or any of that. So you put the shield on the Ruby, and I actually did that on purpose. I thought the Ruby was gonna stun him. She did not. That's unfortunate. You see, even my ultimate, all you have to do is just kind of pay attention to what's going on. Oh, he got the Ruby, no. Yeah, that sucks. Okay. Yeah, the plan was to save the Ruby so that he'd rush me and the Ruby could stun him and take him down, but I did not get in front of the second dash. I got the first one, and we were able to survive, but the second one was not it. And unfortunately, it's going to be 2 losses for the video, you guys. And that's just because he's bad. I can't fill the role that I need to, even though he's got a lot of different... you see, look at that. He has no ability to tank. He has a bunch of abilities that try to like go into a different role, but they can't do it. I can't be a flanker. I'm not fast enough. I can't be a support. The shield doesn't matter what I do with the shield. It just sits there and it's like 4,000 health, and they just kill you, honestly. And it's not enough to stop them. Cannot believe we got the Aletta. She must have just been messing around. Let's get this thing real quick here. Yeah, like you can see, all the Diggy has to do is get like, what, 3 shots on me and I'm dead? So that just shows you guys how terrible he is, you know what I mean? You put the shield up, you know, 1, 2, 3, There you go. 3 seconds. I think it's actually technically 4. But all of his abilities, they have this big wind-up animation before they actually do anything. And then you have his ultimate, which kind of, it's a decent damage ultimate, but it's more utility-based. And it actually does not do enough. You know, the utility is just not there. And that's what you find oftentimes is, look how long it took me to pop out one ability. I'm already half health and I didn't even do enough to the Sindri. We'll probably get her there, yep, and then we're actually going to use this to, I was going to try to push him through the window, there we go. Get the rush, perfect. Alright, so the Fade did not trade the rush like I thought he would. And he forced me off the point, actually, now that I just realized that. But you can see that all of these roles that he potentially fills, you might as well just pick somebody else. And that's honestly the biggest part about Ono and why he's not very good. You're not seeing him is because they did one of the things that I'm really glad they did is they released a hero that's not absolute, and we got the glitch again, you guys. It's like a T-pose at this point. They release all these heroes every time the season starts. They release a hero, and the hero's just absolutely busted, and it becomes the meta, and everyone plays a new hero, and they didn't do that this time. And hopefully that is a good sign, a sign that they're going to give him buffs in the mid-season. That way he's balanced instead of being overpowered at launch, and then they just nerf him in the mid-season, and then it's not gonna aggravate the community as much. So in the long run, I think it's good that he doesn't have any role that he's particularly good at, and he's kind of in the middle. You can see, I mean, I'm number 70 in the world, and he's kind of midway in the pack as far as like how often I play him. And that's kind of, you know, typical of Ono. That's his staple. He's okay at everything. He's not really good at anything. And I think that's what they need to do, is they either need to come in here and they buff his attack speed, and they buff the Furious Slash activation, and they buff the portable barrier health, and then they're good. I think 3 small buffs in every area will make him good. Or what they do is they go, instead of buffing all 3, we're going to make the Stormblade insane. It's going to do crazy damage, and even though he's a tank, he's going to have that long range damage and consistent damage with his basic attack that will allow him to kind of carry the team in the same way Victor does. Like, Victor has that close range damage, Jabali has that close range damage, and he'll be like a far away tank. You know what I mean? So you can tank, you can get in there, but he's going to be best used at that mid to long range, and he'll be more of a damage support type of tank. You know, somebody that can kind of help the team out by the damage, the shield, and then every once in a while go in there and get things done. And maybe they'll do that. Maybe they'll make the Furious Slash be like a huge radius like Sindri, and it'll just knock everybody back, and it'll have a decent activation time. Or maybe they'll take this barrier, it's got 5,600 health, it doesn't feel like it. You know, maybe they up the duration to 8 seconds. Maybe they up that barrier health to like 7,000 instead of 5,600. I think there's a lot they could do with Ono, and they kind of left themselves a window to give potential buffs to him so that he's not overpowered at launch. So I think it's good in the long run, but right now he really needs some love, and he's not very good. He's kind of just there. You know what I mean? You can pick him for fun. He's the new hero, so you're going to play him and try to get him and all that kind of stuff. But you're not really going to pick Ono, because you look at your damage, your tanks first, right? You're like, okay, well, besides Zero Kelvin, all these guys can do what he does better, right? You go to the damage dealers, all of these guys are better than Ono at dealing damage. You go to the flankers, every single one of these flankers has a way to escape. Even though I would say that you can definitely try to use Ono in a flanker playstyle, that's not really where he feels at home. He's got the shield, but think about, even if you just look at like Iris or Chemist, the amount of healing you can get off in 1 shot, 2 shots, is enough to turn the tide of a match, whereas his shield is like 4 seconds and it's gone. It's easy to destroy, it doesn't last long. So all of these roles are filled by other heroes, and Ono tries to be a jack of all trades, and I don't think he does that enough. So my suggestion for anybody watching, play somebody else and wait for them to buff him, and they're either going to buff him across the board so he's good at everything and you can pick him no matter what, or they'll buff him and put him into a category, if that makes sense. They will make one of these 3 abilities, the basic attack or these 2, they will make one of the abilities or the basic attack really, really good so that it solidifies his position in the meta and as a certain type of tank and as a certain type of role. Even if he is like kind of like a, you know, your dives are technically tanks, but they focus on trying to deal damage and take a bunch of damage from a certain target. That's different than what Ruby and Jabali do. So that's my thoughts on him. Hopefully you guys enjoy. Nice, relaxing video. Bunch of losses for you, unfortunately. He's just not the pick in Platinum. But let me know what you think about Ono, and we'll see you guys in the next one.